Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's a couple of less featured bots, so it could be a little wild and wacky. We're on the map Equilibrium, the AI edition, and we've got Tom Test taking on a bot called Stalker bot. Now, if I had to guess what this bot was gonna do, I'd say it's probably gonna make zealots. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get any further into this match, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. If we can hit, let's say 52 likes today, that would be amazing. Don't ask me why I had to check my watch to come up with the number 52, but I did. And yeah, leave a comment down below saying more bots, more bagels, more bananas, more whatever it may be. And yeah, that goes a long way to supporting the channel. Thanks so much to everyone who does consistently hit that like button and comment. Subscribe if you do want to see more goofy bot games like the one I imagine is about to be a little bit wacky. You don't get new or lesser developed bots and not have things be a little bit wacky. So we're gonna see. We do have double pylon for Stalker bot. We're just waiting for a gateway to finish up. And then we've got Tom Test just going for a double racks single gas play for starters. So it's going to be really curious to see how these two face off against each other. It looks like there is a cybernetics core and a gateway going to completely block the gas of Stalker bots. So that's going to make producing Stalkers a little bit more difficult. Yeah, that's not great. I mean, it's still mining gas. It's just much slower than you'd expect. I don't believe this cyber core is affecting the mineral mining rate, but we'll see if that comes back to bite Stalker bot in the butt or not. Now, Stalker bot, I assume, is waiting for this cybernetics core to finish before it goes in with said Stalkers. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it is definitely interesting to see these newer bots. So if you do like them, let me know in the comments down below whether you want to see newer bots like this or not. And yeah, we've got one Stalker on the way. I assume we'll see a second one on the way soon, but a Nexus is going down for Stalker bot, so it's not all in. It will have access to another gas that it hasn't completely blocked. But yeah, just firing up one Stalker for now. Well, you have another gateway on the way, so just gateway production. The cybernetics core is busy researching warp gate. Meanwhile, Tom Test is just doing Terran things, and that is going for a whole boatload of +1 bio, which just about fits the bill. You get a lesser developed Terran bot and a lesser developed Protoss bot. What are you gonna see? A bunch of Stalkers against a bunch of bio. That doesn't surprise me too much. It's a great starting point if you are gonna program a bot, just to see how good of a sort of rushing bot you can produce. Now, Stalker bot is definitely going to have its work cut out for it today, as there's just so much Terran bio that's being produced. Like Terran, they build racks and then they just start pumping bio. Protoss, we're seeing a Robo on the way, a Twilight Council, Warp Gate being researched. So, and also a Nexus going up for Stalker bot. So it's committing to a bigger economy that it may not live to see. We'll have to wait for the move out point of Tom Test. I assume Tom is going to be going for it, and there we see this Terran army is now moving across the map. There's going to be combat shield, there's going to be +1 attack, and there is presently, that's what, 16, 22 Marines moving across the map, and Stalker bot has got 6 Stalkers, 7 Stalkers. There is no blink started just yet, so these Stalkers are going to have to micro very well. Of course, these Marines don't have stims, so the Stalkers should actually be able to micro against them successfully, in theory. However, this is just a lot of muscle that Tom is sending out. We've got all the reinforcements just rallying across the map, although there is a few at home, interestingly enough. But these Stalkers have got their work cut out for them. One warps in. Is it even going to live to be warped in? Now, the Stalkers are microing against the Marines. They're doing quite a good job for starters. Some of them are caught out, though. The ones on the ramp are fine. These other ones, they're trying to path to safety, but it's very difficult to write a bot that paths properly. Now, Stalkers are shooting from the high ground on these Marines while the Nexus takes a beating. The Stalkers are just firing so darn slowly, so these Marines are actually staying alive a lot longer. I don't know if Stalker bot is killing these Marines fast enough. And oh no, the Stalkers, they're trying to path back when they should have pathed up. Although, I mean, there isn't that many Marines in this cluster, so they may actually kill all these Marines, so that's not bad for Stalker bot. The rest of these Marines could cause problems, though, as these Stalkers, yeah, they don't seem to take into account high ground or ramps. It's just a matter of, oh, I just got to retreat. And so that's not great for Stalker bot. Most of those Stalkers have gone down. There's a couple on the high ground. Big economic damage was done to the Protoss bot, though. And as far as cost per cost, even if it's just trading out, Stalkers do not do well against Marines. We've got, how many more Marines is that moving across for Tom Test? That's another 17 Marines. I think that may be too much. Now, there is a good amount of space in the main to retreat for Stalker bots, so there is the potential that these Stalkers will just be able to kite these Marines to death while the buildings absorb the damage, and as there's no high ground for them to get caught on, although I am worried against the wall, and oh yeah, Stalker bot definitely needs a bit of updates on its micro. This really makes you appreciate the bots that micro incredibly well. Now, there's a couple Stalkers that are doing their thing, but they're just being chased too far. I mean, I think Tom's simple Marine strategy has won out today, as there is only one Stalker left, and I don't expect Stalker bot to all of a sudden start microing like a pro. It would have been cool to see if it had been able to make it to Blink, but yeah, this is just a really good example of how bots, like, how we have to appreciate the bots that properly pull their units back and don't just get them caught in a corner, that kind of thing. Because if you just program the simple logical thing, you'll say, oh yeah, they'll just retreat forever. But then there's circumstances like those little pockets that they get caught in, and that's exactly what happened. But now, of course, this is a great time to reveal that this is going to be a multi-part video, ladies and gentlemen, so stay tuned and don't go anywhere, as after these buildings are all killed, we're going to be having another match of Starcraft 2. Okay, so let's just, actually, let's just do this live. How about that? A black screen for a couple of seconds, and it's loading back on in. Yeah, I mean, these newer bots are definitely interesting. I mean, I do like the premise for Stalker bot. It clearly has some small improvements that could be made, but if the micro was a little bit better, maybe it could have just microed all those Marines to death. And now we're loading on into the next map, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Hard Lead, the AI edition, which is different from our previous map. But oh man, we have got Artie gonna be going and just sending out some Marines taking on, or some SCVs to build some racks, to build some Marines, taking on one, which is a Protoss bot that kind of got that kind of showed us how good it is with its carriers in that previous match that I cast. But it is going to have to take the Artie test. Artie seems to be a menace to the lower bots on the ladder with its just constant 2 racks cheesing, 3 racks, probably more racks on the way. And that's just the thing about the supercharged bot economy. They can, if you have more minerals coming in every minute, that means your cheeses are a little bit superpowered, which is cool to see. So now we've got these SCVs are going to be going and just building a couple of racks. Meanwhile, one is going for a gateway, double gas. We'll see if it's going to scout this out or not. This is a great test for up-and-coming bots, whether they can defend against the simplest cheese in the book. The simplest cheese in the book, which, for those of you that follow StarCraft 2 patches, we might not see it in pro tournaments as much as far as the TVZ matchup goes, because for those of you that don't know, Zerg hatcheries got made a little bit cheaper. And 275 minerals down from 300, which means that the Zergs can now do basically a very quick natural hatchery just by skipping the first Overlord and doing the extractor trick. And that means that they actually get up the natural hatchery way, way quicker. Now, Artie is just going absolutely all in. The boys are pulled. Artie's going for it. Did it leave any SCVs? No, Artie is 100% all in with this attack. Gonna be going and sending in the boys to buffer. One Zealot is on the way for one, but man, oh man, this pylon could be in a bit of trouble as it's vulnerable. Probes are being pulled off the line to try and help out. The SCVs do pull off the pylon, so this actually will allow the Zealot to complete. So these probes are doing a great job buying time. The Zealot is now doing what it can, forcing this army back. However, unfortunately, the Marines will just kite it, so good kiting by Artie. Now a Stalker is being produced by one, but in come the Marines and the SCVs. Once again, probes are being pulled off the line, gonna try and be heroes. Artie doesn't target down the pylon though, so these probes, they are fighting for time. I'm not sure if one's gonna have the time that it needs though, as the pylon is gonna be unpowered, and it didn't decide to build another pylon until this one died. So not a lot of forethought on this one. And it just goes to show that programming your bot to defend against cheeses like this has got to be a ginormous pain, as it's a very specific case you've got to be prepared for in the early game. So, I mean, that pylon does finish up. More probes are pulling off the line, but that does knock one down to literally one probe. Maybe that's where it gets its name. The Stalkers just about made it out, but pylon positioning is important. Building that second pylon when you know this kind of rush is coming. It chrono boosts the cybernetic core. Just trying its best. But that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen, for this match anyway. We will load into the next one, and I'll not be lazy. I'll actually cut the video because I think that is a little bit too much black screen time between the videos, between the matches. So, yeah, we will load on into game number 3 in the second here as these Marines just shoot down that Nexus in rapid fire. Rapido. GG. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have got another match featuring a Terran bot. And oh my gosh, Terrans really are the villains today, as we've got another SCV moving on out. Mulebot is saying Marauder Plus, which I can only assume is a Marauder cheese, unless 7 is going to take the initiative with an early pool, and that's exactly what we're going to see here. So potentially a cheese versus a cheese, which I am all here for, and who knows, maybe Mulebot isn't cheesing, but as I say that, this suspicious SCV parks itself and decides to build its double-wide trailer on 7's lawn. And so we are going to be having a bit of a cheeky cheese. Looks like it will be Marauders, though, from Mulebot, which is a risky play because, I mean, we all know Lings are pretty darn good against Marauders, and with an early pool coming out of 7, that is quite promising for the Blue Zerg. So this could be one of those cheeky cheeses getting slapped on down. That being said, it's bot matches. Anything can happen. Just having the early pool does not guarantee the win. There is 6 Lings on the way, though, which is important. Queen's being produced, too. Mulebot taking its time, getting up that first rack's about to finish up, but it's been mining gas, so it will be able to fire up that tech lab, start producing Marauders, but Marauders are much slower than Marines to get out. Like, you gotta wait for that tech lab to build. So we have 6 Lings now crossing the map. We'll have to see how well Mulebot is going to potentially micro its SCVs against this Ling threat. Whether a Marauder can pop out and pull the Lings back home. Who knows? Maybe the Marauders are going to run back home. There's so many little things these bot authors have to consider. But the only thing these two have considered this game so far is how to cheese out their opponent. And nothing beats the good old Zerg rush with 6 Lings already crossing the map. I believe it is still the fastest rush in the game. And so there goes those 6 Lings crossing into Mulebot's main base. We'll see if SCVs are going to be pulled to join the fight, or whether they will just run. So far, the SCVs are fighting and microing back. The injured ones pulling away. They're all fighting as well as they can. So beautiful micro by 7 to absorb those Lings and kill them all. The SCVs then get back to work. Meanwhile, the first Marauder has popped out. It hasn't really revealed itself just yet, but yeah, 7 is now trying to transition out of this as it's got a hatchery on the way. It's producing a few drones. It is making more Zerglings to defend against these Marauders. But man, oh man, that machine micro is very impressive. Pretty straightforward tactic by Mulebot. Just an SCV takes damage, pull it back, send it back on in, so they're always buffering for each other. Very cinematic too as well. Now we've got more lings crossing the map. These are just slow Marauders presently to deal with them. We'll see if 7 actually reacts to this threat and starts producing more lings instead of drones. So far, it's paused the production for a second. It does fire up another drone, so 7 really needs to put 2 and 2 together and realize it's danger time. Queens can tank against Marauders a little bit, but we've already got 5 Marauders, 6 Marauders out for Mulebot, and man oh man, 4 lings being produced. I'm not sure it's going to cut it. Some drones are going to have to die at the very least. As they do get on top of some of those Marauders, we've got 7 saying rush macro, as this queen decides to fight the Marauders head on. 4 more drones did just get produced though, which isn't ideal for 7. We'll see if it fires up another one. I'm like, all right, whatever at this point, but if it fires up another drone, I'm gonna be saying, shame on you. Shame on you. Just make units. You must live. 7, it's firing up another queen. Drones are starting to go down. It does fire up some lings. Now the rest of the drones are being pulled into the fight. There's so many stinking Marauders here, though. And ladies and gentlemen, I didn't intend this to be such a Terran cheese-heavy video, but what do you know? Terran bots and apparently Terran bot authors are cheeky guys. And so, yeah, it does go to show that when you program a bot, every little thing like matters as far as reactions go, because for example, 4 Marauders should set off like an I'm being cheesed flag for 7, but of course that's only if the bot authors programmed in a specific defense like that. So it did make a few more drones than it needed to, and it also is a good case that it's also a good case that just because one cheese looks like it kind of counters the other, that's not necessarily true. The SCV work really is what won 7 Mulebot this game. If it had lost all its SCVs because it didn't really have anything programmed to deal with 6 lings, it would have could have potentially just lost the game. It wouldn't have been able to afford these ridiculous amount of Marauders it's made. That is going to be it for this video, though, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you did enjoy this cheesier match. We can all enjoy a little bit of cheese every now and then. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.